Welcome, people. This is Steve Eyes, and you're on the EyesIsWatchin channel. And in today's Clown World Circus, the clowns have rolled out their best act yet. Okay, wait till you hear this. Trump is proudly ordering the DOJ and FBI to go investigate Jeffrey Epstein, but only the parts that involve Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan, Chase, and whatever Democrat name they can scribble down before the cameras start rolling. First, the Epstein files were a hoax, then suddenly they were real. Then the real files turned into binders full of nothing. Then the binders magically became classified. And now the new line is, don't worry, folks, it's all just a Democrat thing. Please ignore everyone else. The truth is, this wasn't a Democrat scandal or a Republican scandal. This was a Congress scandal. I'm going to tell my kids this was the Epstein list, okay? All of Congress. The whole damn building is compromised. Half of them were flying to that island, and the other half were praying their names didn't get leaked. Trump keeps saying he'll get to the bottom of it, but somehow he only looks at the people he already doesn't like, while pretending the rest of the political class doesn't exist. The whole thing is a sick joke. This is the biggest blackmail network in modern history, and the official response is basically, relax. We'll investigate the safe targets while burying everyone that actually matters. And they expect people to clap like this is justice? It's unbelievable, and the same clowns keep on clowning, okay? And now we have Trump signing an executive order removing tariffs on beef, coffee, bananas, and half the supermarket aisle, all to ease consumer frustration, which is hilarious because he's the one who jacked up the prices in the first place. It's the same circus routine. You know, you break something and then you do a victory lap and then pretend like you fixed everything. Trump keeps yelling that this Epstein stuff is a hoax, even though every new leak makes him look more nervous. He keeps pretending everything is fine while the story gets worse for him. You know, it's like he's trying to put out fire with more gasoline. It's insane. And now we're seeing clear proof of something people suspected for years. The CIA and Mossad were basically working as one. Surprise, surprise. Epstein wasn't just hosting rich guys and billionaires. He had Yoni Koren, an actual Israeli military intelligence officer, living in his Manhattan apartment for long stretches in 2013, 2014, and 2015. This wasn't a retired guy visiting New York. Koren was Ehud Barak's intelligence fixer, a lieutenant colonel, and he used Epstein's place as his base while talking with Barak, Amman, Leon Panetta's people, and Pentagon insiders like Jeremy Bash and Eric Lynn. The emails between Barak and Koren are wild. They switch into Hebrew to confirm or deny reports about Egypt offering Palestinians land in the Sinai. Barak says someone should deny the story, and Koren replies with intel straight from Amman. Then you get the strange Beats headphones thing. Barak buys red headphones, leaves them at a hotel with an envelope and a bank card, and tells Koren in English, which he never does, to pick it up under a fake name, Rachel Levin. That name never appears anywhere else. Barak had also just emailed Epstein Citibank transfer info for Koren. 3 days later, Koren says the refund happened. Barak tells him to keep the card, and then Barak flies to London and keeps messaging him like nothing happened. This clearly wasn't about headphones. It looks like a simple intel handoff. All of this is happening while NSA files leaked by Snowden show Barak and Koren were high-priority U.S. surveillance targets. That explains why their emails feel coded and rushed. Epstein's calendars even show extra meetings with Barak that Congress didn't release, including an emergency meeting after Epstein missed a flight to Paris. Koren also stayed in Epstein's spare unit in October 2014 while forwarding Panetta's travel dates, arranging White House and Pentagon access for Barak's grandkids with Yale Lampert, and coordinating with Laura Updegrove to get Barak into secure Pentagon areas. Which is crazy because that means Epstein wasn't just hanging out with rich people. He was arranging access for foreign intelligence figures like Ehud Barak and Yoni Koren into restricted U.S. government spaces, including Pentagon areas normal visitors never see. That alone is a national security nightmare. Then you add the weird behavior here, the covert behavior with Barack slipping into Hebrew with Corin about sensitive intel, Barack using Epstein's apartment as a base, and that bizarre Beats headphone thing, which clearly is about something else. Okay, it had nothing to do with headphones. I mean, none of this looks like just normal friendship or tourism, okay? It looks like a back-channel intelligence network happening through a sex traffickers network. The problem isn't that one moment, it's the pattern, okay? The foreign intel moving through Epstein like he was a private middleman between U.S. intelligence officials and Israeli intelligence officials. Independent reporters uncovered all this and had to raise huge amounts of money just to fight lawsuits. Meanwhile, the mainstream media is not touching on the exact details of this because it could compromise all of Congress. Congress stalled the final signature needed to force the Epstein files out. Remember that. Then Speaker Mike Johnson blocked Adelita Grijalva from being sworn in because Trump told him to, all to stop the vote that would release the files. Right after that, Trump jumps online telling everyone not to talk about Epstein and to stay focused on the shutdown. Like someone who didn't fly on Epstein's plane or hang out with him at Mar-a-Lago. The louder Trump yells hoax, the more obvious it is he's not protecting Republicans from Democrats. He's protecting himself and the entire intelligence web around Epstein. Someone said GOP stands for Guardians of the Pedophiles. I found this actually hilarious, I gotta say.
Hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing.
What more needs to be said? The whole Congress is compromised and dead. And the leaks keep getting worse, okay? New emails show Epstein telling Ghislaine that Trump spent hours at my house, end quote, with one of the victims, and that Trump knew about the girls. The same girls later confirmed to be underage. Epstein told her Trump was the dog that didn't bark, end quote, meaning he stayed quiet. Epstein also told Michael Wolff that Trump asked Ghislaine to stop, in quotes, which only makes sense if he knew exactly what she was doing. That's why they might pardon her. You get how all this is coming together? She goes back to her cell with that little white box. I think all of this is playing out exactly like they wanted to. So yes, prepare for an alien invasion staged by the government soon. Yes, they are that desperate. Meanwhile, Trump is screaming online about hoaxes, while at the same time the White House is arguing over which parts of the Epstein emails to hide. They even quietly admitted that the unnamed victims in the draft report was Virginia Giuffre, the same girl who was recruited while working at Mar-a-Lago. The White House now claims Trump banned Epstein decades ago, but the emails show Epstein planning how to protect Trump during the 2015 debates and even asked what Trump should say if CNN brought it up. That's not some guy he barely knew. That's someone who believed he had influence over him. And the second Congress found the votes to force the full Epstein files out, Trump and Mike Johnson tried to shut it down. If someone fights that hard to stop documents from coming out, you already know why, okay? It's not hard to figure these things out. That's blackmail doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Then you have Netanyahu telling a journalist he's reading a book called The Jews versus Rome. Yeah, interesting book there, Netanyahu. And saying, we lost that one, we have to win the next one. That book is about 2 centuries of rebellion against the biggest empire on earth. So you have to ask, who's the empire now? Because when you look at the Epstein-Mossad blackmail network and a US president who's scared to step out of line, I think the answer is obvious. Netanyahu said, we're not going to lose this one. Trump spent years doing favors like he was trying to be the perfect little helper, Israel's little pawn, and they still threw him under the bus. Soon as he wasn't useful. That goes to show exactly who these demons are. Israel still leaks humiliating stories about him. And what kind of humiliating stuff are we talking about? Well, one of the leaked emails lays it out right here. You've got Jeffrey Epstein's own brother casually joking about whether Putin has photos of Trump blowing Bubba, in quotes. Now, as we know, Bubba is Bill Clinton's nickname, sounding like a generic rape scene in a movie. Bubba. That's insane. Back and forth in emails talking about blowjobs like it's normal breakfast table conversation. Who would have known? I mean, it wasn't Monica Lewinsky under that desk. It was Trump. So not only is Trump funding the Iron Dome in Israel, he's also giving a good old-fashioned American Iron Dome in the White House. Oh, Bubba. Then in the same thread, they're talking about Trump and Epstein making a remake of Get Hard, the movie. And what happened in that movie, Get Hard? Well, it was a comedy about a clueless rich guy getting prepped for prison by someone that didn't know much about prison. And in the real world, they're laughing about who would play who. Well, you don't need a professional analyst for this one. Let's check out the main characters here, Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, having a little back and forth. Kevin Hart being Epstein here, and Will Ferrell is, of course, Donald Trump. Check this out.
I mean, frankly, I don't feel like you're giving me 100%. And as your incarceration expert, that concerns me. Because it's my job to prepare you. Fortunately, I got a plan.
Oh, thank God. Oh, that's good.
You're gonna learn how to suck dick.
What?
Oh, God. I said, I want you to learn how to suck
I
dick.
heard you. That's your plan?
Yes. All I'm saying is that when life puts a dick in your mouth, you make dickade.
Dickade doesn't sound like a significant improvement over dick.
Okay? Bottom line, James, I know what I'm talking about. We're talking about survival.
I understand. Because that's how you survived.
No, you shut your mouth. No, it is not. I survived with these.
Dual hand jobs.
No. I kill with these. That's the difference between me and you. Hence why you need to suck a dick. Come on, man.
Where am I gonna find someone who...
It's not looking good for the Trumper, folks. Here's a tweet I like to refer to as "If Trump Was Honest." You can read it for yourself. Explicit, I know. Well, folks, I guess that's what he meant by draining the swamp. The MAGA crowd trying to cope but he didn't swallow, right? Donald J. Lewinsky, folks, compromised puppet of Israel. You know damn well Netanyahu got some of this on camera too. Okay, soon they'll ask Trump to nuke Iran, or else they'll release all the footage. Maybe this leak was just to humiliate Trump because he didn't do everything Israel asked for fast enough. Now they're hanging the tapes of Trump and Bubba over Trump's head like, do as we say or the footage is coming out. That's what happens when you think you're part of the club, but you're actually a pawn. They don't care about you. They'll kill their own if they have to. To achieve that greater Israel project, nobody's above the plan, okay? The Epstein list and the genocide in Gaza are connected because the US president won't challenge Israel. He's compromised. Loyalty doesn't matter when someone owns you. And now US intelligence caught Israeli officials talking about sending Palestinians into booby-trapped tunnels as human shields, okay? The Biden White House panicked. I mean, their lawyers scrambled over whether this crossed into war crimes, and the IDF denied everything while quietly investigating suspicions inside their ranks when we know exactly what was going on. Israeli lawyers even warned there was enough evidence for war crimes charges, which would force the US to stop sending weapons. But American officials decided these were isolated incidents, so they didn't have to change anything. And while the death toll keeps rising and Washington keeps sending the shipments, everyone acts like they can't see what's right in front of them, because admitting it would blow up more than tunnels. I mean, check this out right here. Netanyahu giving a hero's welcome to a man that was in prison in America for spying on the US government and giving top secret info to Israel. And he was born in America, by the way. This is absolutely wild. The American was jailed in 1985 for spying for Israel, and he has been released. Exciting moment, Netanyahu says. Yeah, the greatest ally, right? The hunt is real, people. I'm talking about both what's happening in real life and that movie that came out in 2020. It wasn't just a movie, all right? Let's talk about the kind of evil the public is not supposed to even know exists. The kind of evil that makes even the darkest conspiracies look soft. Because Italy just opened up a criminal investigation into something so insane that if you put it in a movie, people would call it unrealistic. They are investigating claims that during the Bosnian War in the 1990s, rich people flew to Sarajevo on weekend sniper safaris where they paid to shoot civilians for fun. You heard that right, safaris, people. Not for lions, not for antelope, for human beings trying to survive the longest siege of a capital city in modern European history. Not a rumor anymore, folks. It's been exposed that Milan prosecutors are charging it as murder aggravated by cruelty and despicable motives. That is a legal category reserved for monsters. 5 suspects are already identified, including a plastic surgery clinic owner from Milan. These weren't just some drunk lunatics. These were wealthy businessmen, respectable, in quotes, people. The same people who donate to political parties and sit on charity boards. And this new investigation lays out the structure of the whole operation. It wasn't random and it wasn't chaotic. It was organized. Every Friday, some of these freaks would meet in Trieste, hop on a Yugoslav or Serbian airline called Aviogenex, get flown into the hills above Sarajevo, and pay Bosnian Serb militias loyal to Radovan Karadzic to shoot civilians. They even had a price list. I mean, the levels of evil is otherworldly, okay? Children costed the most. Men next, women after that. Elderly were free. That was the deal. This wasn't just killing, it was a business model. A Bosnian intelligence officer testified that they discovered the flights and told Italian intelligence, "Seize me," in early 1994. "Seize me" eventually responded that they put a stop to it, end quote. Which means one thing, they knew it was real. If it wasn't real, you don't put a stop to anything. Try to comprehend that. Children costed the most if they wanted to go on human hunt safaris for children. And then you have survivors confirming the pattern. Weekends at Sarajevo were always the most dangerous. That lines up exactly with the flights from Trieste. One survivor said his 9-year-old brother was sniped dead while playing tennis, and that they will never know if the shooter was one of these foreign tourists. Meanwhile, Bosnia's investigation stalled decades ago. Yeah, totally shocking. Nobody in power ever rushes to expose these demons in charge who pay $100,000 to kill poor people. But it wasn't just Italians. Documentary footage from the time shows Russian ultra-nationalist Eduard Limonov firing a machine gun into Sarajevo with Karadzic standing next to him. A U.S. Marine testified in The Hague in 2007 that he witnessed what he called tourist shooters being escorted by Serb fighters, not regular shooters, not uniformed forces, some rich, wealthy, demonic people. So now we have Italy confirming it. We have survivors confirming it. We have intelligence reports confirming it as well. And we have film footage confirming it now too. Okay, we have testimony confirming it. At this point, the only people trying to deny it are the same governments that ran the region into the ground in the first place. And this is where it even gets darker, okay? Because the idea of wealthy elites hunting humans for sport isn't new. I mean, they do slip this into movies like predictive programming. Everyone knows that whatever they tell you is fiction in these movies for decades is a form of revelation of the method, okay? What they can't admit openly, they reveal in entertainment as just a movie. And the perfect example is the movie The Hunt. In The Hunt, 12 people wake up in a field, gagged and confused. They don't know how they got there. They don't know why they were chosen. They eventually discover that a private group of wealthy demons abducted them to literally hunt them for sport. They find a weapons crate, and there are multiple booby traps in the area. There is a remote killing ground, and these elites are watching it all like pay-per-view. The plot goes deeper. The elites handpick their victims. They transport them on a private jet. They treat human lives like animals, and they justify the murders with politics, class, and ideology. Now, of course, this is just a movie, but think about what happened in real life. We just confirmed that this is really happening. This is what the people in charge have been doing. The Hunt was predictive programming. It was predictive because the demons in charge always tell you what they are doing. They hide the truth by pretending it's fiction, just like Squid Game, just like Hostel, just like every rich people hunt the poor story Hollywood pumps out. But this is how they confess. This is how they normalize the idea. Because what came out of Sarajevo is only what slipped through the cracks. Imagine what the world hasn't seen. Imagine the stuff still buried. If they allowed rich men to fly into these active war zones to shoot children for money. What do you think they're doing today with all those private islands and experimental tech they keep bragging about? We already know they ran global child trafficking networks. That's not a surprise anymore. Epstein wasn't just this one-off evil agenda they had running. No, that was a small part of a demonic ecosystem. Okay, we are living in truly a dark, dark world. Now we're learning that these same elites also engaged in human hunting, literal human hunting. If this is what leaks out after 30 years, imagine the things that never get revealed. The crimes that live behind classified documents and endless redacted paragraphs, the rituals, the disappearances, the people who were never found, the hundreds of thousands of children that go missing every year. The evil we're seeing now is not human nature. It's something else. It's otherworldly. The kind of evil that feeds on suffering. The kind of evil that feels at home in war zones, watching genocides unfold. The Hunt movie laid it out. Sarajevo was supposed to be history. Epstein was supposed to be a Democrat hoax. But the pattern is the same. The rich hide their crimes behind power. They hide reality behind entertainment. Matter of fact, they probably want us to watch these movies and eat our popcorn enjoying it. Maybe it helps them sleep better at night. Like, oh, you enjoy it as entertainment too, when they really do it in real life. Revelation of the method, folks. They hide the truth behind myth. But sometimes the paperwork does catch up, okay? That's why the distractions are necessary. That's why all mainstream news networks are talking about aliens and UFOs at the exact same time. Don't let it distract you from their satanic agenda. Sometimes a journalist files a 17-page report and everything cracks open, and suddenly the line between movie and reality just disappears. Because here's the truth. The elites don't just rule the world, they hunt in it. And we were never supposed to find out. I can't think of anything more twisted and dark. To be honest, after reading what those doctors in Gaza just described, little kids being picked off with single sniper shots to the head and chest, families waving white flags still getting hit, drones hovering over neighborhoods like remote control executioners. Tell me how this doesn't look like human hunting. It's the same thing we're told about what happened in Sarajevo, that nightmare. I talked about it before, okay? It looks like the same thing happening in war zones. And maybe that's why these demons in charge are starting wars in all these places. So they can go there on human hunt safari missions. Wealthy psychos flying in for sniper weekends, end quote. Paying militias to shoot civilians like target practice. Even putting a price list on children. Everyone pretends that this kind of evil only existed decades ago in Bosnia and Sarajevo. But what's the difference? Kids on the street getting dropped with deliberate headshots in Gaza is not collateral damage. That's hunting. That's sport. That's the exact same pattern we're seeing here, okay? Civilians treated like prey because the people pulling the trigger know they'll never face consequences. Once you understand the level of evil we're dealing with, it's not a far-fetched idea to know they'll put together a satanic worldwide agenda with all these governments to poison their own people through vaccines. You think that's far-fetched? Out of the realm of possibility? I mean, they're literally hunting children for sport. Documents confirm it, people. Not a conspiracy theory, but watch how fast they're going to distract the public from this one. And as Trump keeps pretending he's a lone warrior fighting the swamp, he's literally hosting a White House dinner packed with every Wall Street reptilian on earth. That's right, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, Larry Fink from BlackRock, the CEO of NASDAQ, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Apollo, Citadel, basically the Avengers of global finance, all sitting down for a private meal with the guy who claims he's taking on the deep state. Yeah, you've got Blackstone, SoftBank, KKR, and even the head of the New York Stock Exchange showing up like it's family night. Someone called it a Jew fest. A dinner meeting with the swamp creatures, the architects of the digital concentration camp. Now Trump is begging them to invest in U.S. manufacturing while they pitch him on handling the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac IPO, a multi-billion-dollar Wall Street jackpot. This is the same drain the swamp administration that just packed a dining room with every billionaire who profits off housing manipulation, IPOs, high-skill visa lobbying, tariffs, interest rate games, and global finance. So yeah, Trump is totally taking on the establishment by whining and dining every one of its owners. And Trump is definitely manipulating the system, not just the stock exchange, but the crypto market, allowing his son to win hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto. Oh yeah, he's draining the swamp, huh? Yeah, oh yeah, he's for the blue-collar workers, huh? His son is about to be one of the richest young people ever dealing with the crypto market because everything he bets on, such as Trump will shake hands with Xi Jinping for this amount of time, for some reason, Trump's son always predicts it accurately. I mean, down to the last second, walking away with millions of dollars in crypto off these bets. Do you understand what's happening here? Trump is not for you. He is for the deep state. He is head demon in charge of the deep state, only caring about himself and his family members. Okay, this is truly a backstabbing scumbag. And since we're talking about Trump draining the swamp, look who's at the table. I mean, out of all the people he could have invited there, Larry Fink, people. The same reptile who openly announced that every currency and every asset will be tokenized and plugged into a single global settlement grid, aka CBDCs. The man just met with Mexico's president, and then right after that, CBDCs are being spoken about, digital IDs implemented everywhere he goes. In the UK just recently, right after that, digital IDs are rolled out, and now he's having a meeting at the White House with Trump. What do you think is going to happen next? The entire wiring of the global finance system is being redesigned by the same guy Trump is now besties with, okay? Which is totally normal. You know, first it was private dinners with Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Bill Gates. Then Netanyahu basically living at the White House. Endless slumber parties with Trump. I mean, he's there every other weekend. At this point, I'd be shocked if Trump didn't install bunk beds like it's the movie Step Brothers. Him and Netanyahu, Dumb and Dumber. And now the architects of the digital control grid is eating steak under the same roof as Mr. Drain the Swamp. Yeah, people, we're so back. The swamp is almost fully drained straight into Trump's dining room. And look at who else is running their mouth this week. Palantir CEO Alex Karp, head of the company literally named after Tolkien's evil seeing stones. You know, the devices designed to corrupt whoever used them. I mean, they knew the symbolism and still branded their surveillance empire with it. This is the same demonic wealthy class that built the Western credit score prison system and now pretends that China doing its own version is the real evil. Their entire business model is build necessary evils, then complain about necessary evils. It's unbelievable. And now Karp is on stage calling critics parasitic, whining that analysts robbed Americans by doubting Palantir stock, bragging that welders and truckers supposedly got rich while analysts sit in broken cars, end quote. He keeps pushing this fantasy that Palantir isn't surveillance at all, but a gift to welders, truckers, soldiers, and factory workers, even though their software is tied directly to Israeli targeting programs, predictive policing, and intelligence operations. His new slogan is basically, patriotism will make you rich. Just hand over your privacy so our AI can protect you from China. Look at these headlines here. It's unbelievable. Losing your privacy to the US intel network is freedom, but losing it to someone else is tyranny. If you don't accept total AI digital surveillance, then China is going to win. We can't let that happen. Yeah, sure. He claims Palantir's AI is what grows the US GDP and insists only America should dominate this technology because if we don't, China will. Then he starts rambling about online Nazis, bragging he talks to real Nazis. That's right. Alex Karp talks to real Nazis and saying the original Nazis would have flown these kids today into camps faster than him. Wow. Which is a weird timing considering Palantir is merging with governments to build digital scoring systems. Okay. And when those roll out, criticizing Israel, criticizing Palantir, or questioning any of these systems can get you flagged instantly. One comment and your score tanks. You become the problem citizen the system was built to contain. Karp keeps pretending he's defending freedom while building the exact infrastructure used to track populations, crush dissent, and control movement. The agenda is so obvious. They're rebranding surveillance as patriotism, as we've mentioned here for months, rebranding obedience as safety, turning dissent into extremism, and hoping people believe this empire was built for welders instead of intelligence agencies. The censorship is on another level, folks. I just tried sending these notes I have to myself on my email, and it wouldn't go through. I can't send my own notes to my email. The email company is blocking it. Let that sink in. Like, they knew the notes I was sending to myself and they're blocking that. I'm on my 10th Twitter account. People have been trying to follow me back on Twitter and it's not working. People are trying to follow me on Rumble, hitting the like button, and those likes are taken back quickly. Network error. Okay. So I don't know how many followers I could have had if this damn system was operating properly. The CEO of BitChute, Ray, tried giving me a follow back on X, and this is the video he sent me. So he's not the only one, people. A lot of people are going to follow me or click the like on Rumble or Odyssey. Hit the follow button, and it's not working. Notifications turned on? Too bad, you're not getting a notification anyway. What the hell is going on here? They're about to send one of those Israeli drones to my house soon, guaranteed. People that are still pretending that Trump is this renegade outsider, they need to look at the circus around him. J.D. Vance, for example, Trump's handpicked vice president, wasn't discovered in Ohio farm country. He was groomed in Silicon Valley by Peter Thiel, the billionaire who co-founded Palantir. Thiel didn't just mentor Vance, he funded him, placed him in tech firms, plugged him into venture capital circles, and built the political machine that delivered him to Trump. And Palantir isn't a cute analytics firm either, okay? It's the Pentagon's favorite tool for drone targeting, ICE raids, battlefield mapping, population control, and now AI kill lists in Gaza. Their CEO openly brags about crucial operations in Israel, and their ads literally declare support for Israel during one of the deadliest offensives of the century. Right as Gaza is being leveled by AI-coordinated strikes, Palantir hires Rep. Mike Gallagher to run their defense wing, a hardcore pro-Israel hawk calling the company a force for good, end quote. Now many students across the country are protesting to divest from Palantir, and Thiel is fumbling interviews trying to justify his company's involvement in automated targeting. This is the man who molded J.D. Vance from day one? You know, the man who calls himself the Antichrist? Vance pretends to be anti-war, but every position he takes lines up perfectly with this tech military ecosystem. He opposes Ukraine aid, but cheers unlimited support for Israel. He breaches restraint while backing the companies building automated warfare systems. He calls himself a populist Christian conservative while accepting millions from firms tied to Israeli energy deals, pro-Israel PACs, and Wall Street donors with Middle East influence. It's all one big network, big club, and you ain't in it. Then there's Trump. You know, he goes on TV claiming Americans don't have the brain power to build missiles anymore and says the only solution is to bring in more H-1B workers. And Laura Ingraham here, she pushed back saying, we do have talent here. Trump snaps at her. He says, no, you don't. 3 words. Talking to her like she's some kind of child, you know, that doesn't know what she's talking about. And then he rolls out amnesty for farm workers, 50-year mortgages, which sounds really Jewy, more Chinese students, hundreds of thousands of them, and full defense mode when it comes to H-1B visas because, in quotes, Americans can't do certain things. It's a spit in the face to the people who worshipped him. And when you look at the corporate hiring data, 94% of new jobs going to people of color, only 6% to whites. You see exactly which agenda he's aligning with. And this was after the George Floyd PSYOP BS. A lot of those demons in charge pushed on purpose so the great replacement could be accelerated. And this is exactly what big companies did right after. So tell me, who do you think is behind that George Floyd PSYOP? The Kalergi plan in full effect, folks. This isn't about talent, okay? Trump is lying to you. It's the same Israel first donor class replacement model corporations already embraced. Even JD Vance warned about it months ago. Look at this. JD Vance says this.
But I make a couple points about this. First of all, I've heard a lot of the criticisms, the fear that we're going to have a brain drain. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, the American space program, the program that was the first to put a human being on the surface of the moon, was built
Do we believe that? You guys
by
believe that?
American citizens, some German and Jewish scientists who had come over during World War II, but mostly by American citizens who had built an incredible space program with American talent. This idea that American citizens don't have the talent to do great things, that you have to import a foreign class of servants and professors to do these things, I just reject that. I actually think we invest in our own people, we can do a lot of good. You've heard that criticism in particular as the president has talked about cracking down on foreign student visas and their abuses, but I think that's actually an opportunity for American citizens to really flourish.
There you have it. So he goes against what Trump is saying now, word for word, a few months ago. I mean, I guess they were given that call, you know? So instead of draining the swamp, Trump is now literally swimming in it. Of course, he defends H-1B visas. But the crazy part is the nonstop flow of H-1B workers and illegal immigrants isn't about helping the economy at all. It's about creating chaos. Look at the craziness here in Canada. In a few months alone, how many immigrants have just been let in under Mark Carney's government? Absolutely outrageous numbers. The people in charge know most jobs are about to be replaced with robots and AI. They know millions of workers, including the people they're bringing in, won't have any future employment. So what happens when all these new arrivals realize there are no jobs, no income, and no way to feed their families? Desperation will ensue. Violence, instability on a scale the public isn't ready for. And the chaos becomes the perfect excuse to declare a national state of emergency, implement nationwide martial law. I mean, they're already talking about specific reactionary forces for some kind of event. And once that emergency hits, people who are starving and scared will accept anything, including a full digital ID system, the mark of the beast control grid, whatever. And the ones who designed it, the ones that people always vote for and swear are on their side, those demons will be lounging in their Elysium-style ring in the sky while everyone is under total control. And all this H-1B visa talk is just outrageous. Look at the timing. Charlie Kirk, less than a month before the staged assassination, was demanding mass deportations, ending H-1B visas, slashing legal immigration, killing chain migration, and building homes for Americans instead of importing the world. He was saying the exact things Trump now runs away from. He would have roasted Trump for this H-1B garbage and for sprinting behind Israel's agenda like this. And now he's gone. And Trump flips positions overnight? Convenient timing, right? Like, did they really want to take him out for that reason? Kirk had the reach to call Trump compromise, and all the boomers that listened to him, they would have been woken up to it. And once he was gone, Trump didn't even bother hiding it. Kirk was also one of the only conservatives telling his audience not to support a war with Iran. No more neocon garbage. No more fighting Israel's battles. And then he dies. And then Trump suddenly shifts into tough guy talk with Iran, like someone just hit a switch. Then the media suddenly drops this intel story about Iran building a new uranium site. Guess what it's called? Kirk Mountain, near Natanz. Out of every possible code name for their mountain, new uranium site, they call it Kirk. You know, right after Charlie Kirk is taken off the board. Weird timing, right? Maybe he's still alive on the site working there. I don't know. But then they claim Iran's missile factories are running nonstop and preparing for a mass launch if Israel strikes. And all this becomes headline news the moment the biggest anti-war voice on the right disappears. The second he wasn't here to push back, the war narrative rolled forward without resistance. Well, people, today on Well Ain't That Some Shit, the same people who spent the last 5 years telling you a PCR test could let you know if you were infected with a virus, yet couldn't tell the difference between a papaya and a pandemic, The same demons who try to sell the masses on an idea of a deadly virus that came out of a Wuhan lab, swearing the only way to save our species was through a deadly injection. The same people who lie about basically everything, including fabricating historical events to paint themselves as the ultimate victims. These same geniuses are now out here diagnosing Hitler with a micropenis from beyond the grave. That's right, peeps. When their lies start falling apart and people actually start waking up and noticing, they don't correct anything. They don't step back and take some accountability for their garbage. Nope. They pull the most childish move imaginable. Hitler had a small dick. That's the level we're operating at now. Breaking news, everybody. You know, I never thought I'd live to see the day where my entire timeline would be flooded with stories about Hitler's penis. And my favorite part here, everyone take a good look at the head scientist behind this groundbreaking study. Yep, there she is, folks. The woman who finally cracked the case on the Fuhrer's crotch. Just look at that facial expression right there. Ugh. I mean, so smug. That shit-eating grin like she just unlocked the secrets of the universe. As if humanity has been waiting all this time for her to deliver the sacred truth about Hitler's junk. It's insane. These people lie about everything that matters, and when they get cornered, they suddenly turn into middle schoolers pointing and yelling, "He had a tiny pecker." Well, ain't that some shit? The same people that were behind that study are also saying this now. Make of this what you will.
Jews built the left in this country. We built the labor movement. We broke the New Deal. 70% of the lawyers who worked on civil rights cases were Jews. We've been at the forefront of every liberal and leftist issue in this country. According to John Fetterman himself, his Zionism puts him out of step with the rest of his party, which, I'm sorry, only 13% stand with Israelis against the Palestinians. Zionism does not have a future in the American left. The Democratic Party's relationship with Zionism depends on whether it's willing to repudiate.
Did she think that was a plus there? Like we were going to be on her side? So she funded leftist organizations, destroyed the world with feminist garbage, LGBT, Black Lives Matter, every despicable leftist moral perversion group you could ever think of. I'm surprised she didn't say, we invented porn. We invented gangster rap. We invented vaccines and seed oils and big pharma slop. Why don't you love us? It's like, lady, calm down. You're not making us like you with that, okay? But we put up sex shops in every corner. We opened up all these transgender clinics. We're like, stop, lady, stop it. You know, you're making us a little, antiseptic. Or whatever it is. Okay, folks, back to this right here. This is insane. Let's talk about Babylon Bee, or as I call them now, the Tel Aviv Bee, because at this point, they're basically a satire news organization with a foreign policy department. It's just insane because they post this little joke about Megyn Kelly tossing out her old pager, just in case, and then they delete the post. And even Megyn Kelly jumps in like, what the F, Seth Dillon? Now, what's crazy about this is they didn't delete it because it hurt Megyn's feelings. They deleted it because it rubbed Israel the wrong way. That's who they were scared of. They got the call. Simple. And it's so funny that this happens right after Netanyahu literally told a crowd of people, don't you all have phones with you? Yeah, that's a piece of Israel right there. He bragged about it. Okay, we all know what he was saying. And suddenly a satire outlet is scrambling to erase a harmless joke. Yeah, okay. Just a coincidence, right? It's the same energy as when Kanye got the call. 1 minute he's talking about the over-the-top Jewish influence on the entertainment industry. Next minute he's sitting down with the rabbis apologizing like, please don't make my pager explode. Once they handled Kanye, they didn't stop, okay? They started going through rappers like a checklist. Young Thug. Supposedly this hardcore gangster rapper suddenly pops up and he's sitting with the same rabbis, for absolutely no reason anyone can explain. Like, what is he doing there? Oh, and let's not forget Mr. Young Thug. That's right, top gangster himself was on one of his album covers wearing a dress, a full-on wedding dress, trying to act tough. Yeah, you can Guarantee he got the call, people. And that same lady is like, we made Young Thug wear the wedding dress on his album cover. We're like, lady, stop. You're making us really hate you. Chill, okay? Apparently, this is one of the biggest gangsters ever, okay? Young Thug. You better not talk shit about him. He might pull a gun out of his pink purse and shoot you. I'll be damned if someone pulls out a gun out of their pink purse and shoots me. But this is outrageous. The funniest part here is this supposedly small, powerless community can get gangster rappers wearing bridal gowns, megastars crawling back to apologize, and entire media outlets deleting tweets within minutes. Honestly, the Megyn Kelly pager thing should have been a Babylon Bee joke, but reality beat them to it, okay? Get this, ex-Mossad chief, we have manipulated equipment in every country you can think of that both explode and secretly collect intel. Why are they saying this?
Did you see any surprises in Gaza?
Surprises?
Yeah.
You mean intelligence surprises?
Pages, walkie-talkies. Do you know how many treated equipment do we have in these countries? You don't. I do.
You mean
I do.
You mean booby-trapped equipment?
Not only booby-trapped.
And spying?
Manipulated equipment. All right?
In which countries are you talking about?
All the countries that you can imagine.
Oh, they're bragging about it, huh? Typical Israel. Devices that collect intel or explode on command. He says the method exists in every country you can imagine. I'm worried that this camera might shoot me with a little tiny microscopic bullet that might hit me in the neck right here. You know, you never know. Then a bunch of people drag me off, never to be seen again. A few days later, you see Erica Kirk crying over me, over my plastic body, you know? Yeah, the world is getting really weird, right? Now, speaking of reptilian liars dragging us into Armageddon, Peter the Reptile Teal, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the self-appointed Antichrist himself is sitting on an 8% chunk of Palantir, flying in and out of Tel Aviv for board meetings, dumping tens of millions of dollars into Republican politics, personally handpicking Trump's VP, J.D. Vance, and basically writing the script for a Trump 2.0 government that will be tied right into foreign intelligence networks and a full-on dystopian slavery system. Okay, this isn't America first. This is Silicon Valley first, tied to Israel, defense contractors first, foreign enemy nations first, AI war first. This is a Democrat politician's dream system right here. And somehow they've convinced the MAGA base it's patriotism. Here's a crazy idea. Give us real freedom of speech. No censorship and no AI tracking, you demons. Is that too much to ask for? Seriously, we're extremists now? Here's a hard pill to swallow. Trump is a deep state puppet installed to usher in a Jewish agenda you'd resist under a Democrat. Shove that in your pipe and smoke it. Matter of fact, that should have been his campaign slogan, okay? He would have been more honest. Ushering in Jewish agendas you'd resist under a Democrat. I would have given him props for being honest, okay? And speaking of Armageddon and end times here, now we've officially reached the moment where churches are outsourcing God to a app. Okay, I'm not even kidding. This is insane. Who's ready for AI Jesus? Pastors are now talking about AI Jesus. Okay, you download an app on your phone and you can text with Jesus, talk to the Bible, confess your sins to an algorithm on your phone, and apparently even get spiritual life coaching from a bot pretending to be Mary, Joseph, Judas, and yes, even Satan. Okay, this is just outrageous. This is where we're at here. Churches are shutting down across the country. Pews are empty. Pastors are burned out. And instead of hiring real humans, they're like, yeah, you know what? Let's just let AI Jesus handle this. Okay, talk about the churches being compromised. Some mega church pastor even made an AI version of himself. $49 a month for a personalized chat with a robo pastor. Insane. Imagine paying a subscription fee to talk to a digital clone of a guy who's supposed to guide your soul for free. You know, isn't that what Jesus said? Other churches built little bots named Faith to help write their sermons because apparently nobody has time to actually read the Bible anymore. Okay? Much easier to download an app and talk to AI Jesus. The apps don't even tell you which translation they're using. It could be King James, could be Tumblr, Discord, could be Tel Aviv, you know, nobody knows. The app is like, you need to worship the Jews, okay? They did not kill Jesus, worship the Jews, send all your money to Israel. They just shove it out the door and hope nobody notices. What if they put this thing out and it starts telling people to start sacrificing goats or doing some weird demonic-ish? It starts telling them to go on human hunt safaris. This is the future, folks. This is actually insane. You know, they did talk about a new age spiritual awakening, but what if it's automated spirituality. A lot of people are saying this AI is going to be God. They're creating a God. Everything it says, we should just follow because it's just thousands of times smarter than us. I just didn't think they would actually call it AI Jesus, okay? Not divine guidance, whatever data set they can grab off the internet. People think they're talking to Jesus. Think about that. But it's really just a chatbot scraping whatever theology it finds lying around online, mostly off Wikipedia. Speaking of Wikipedia, how weird is this? The Wikipedia co-founder was furious that he was asked a question, are you the founder or co-founder of Wikipedia? And he had a big spaz attack, got up and walked away. How dare you?
You're the founder or co-founder? Because
I don't care. That's the dumbest question in the world.
Really?
Absolutely.
There seems to be a dispute.
There's no dispute. I don't care. So, yeah. Say what you like. It doesn't matter.
Well, isn't that like when it comes to Wikipedia a problem? You know, what are the facts?
Yeah. Well, it's not a fact. It's an opinion. So you can have whatever opinion you like. It doesn't matter.
But for you, you're the founder.
Can I just say again, it doesn't matter. I've answered your question 4 times. You know what? I'm done. Thank you. Thanks.
What's going on?
It's stupid. Don't ask me stupid questions.
How is that stupid?
It's a stupid question.
Even though his own Wikipedia says he's the co-founder. And he's like, I am the founder, damn it. The hell's wrong with this guy? I mean, he just exposed his own narcissism for no reason. He didn't have to do that. Who's ready for the great awakening, folks? You know, AI chatbots. You can talk to Mary, Joseph. Oh yeah, the big spiritual awakening is here. Don't you feel it? I mean, you got Russell Brand riding Alex Jones while he does push-ups. Oh God, yeah. Alternative media is here, folks, exposing the deep state criminals. You know, you're the tip of the spear when it comes to exposing government corruption when you got Russell Brand riding on your back like a horsey. This is some real end times level stupidity right here. And how do we know it's all demonic? Well, the same inventors pushing this AI pray to Jesus through your phone-ish are now moving on to genetically editing babies. Look at this Sam Altman right here and his demonic side quest mission. Mr. OpenAI himself and his husband, I know, surprise, surprise, he's gay, are now funding a startup literally designed to rewrite children before they're even born. Okay, the company is called Preventative, based in San Francisco, of course, gay capital, right alongside Tel Aviv, and they say their dream is to correct devastating genetic conditions. Really? Or is it mostly just to have designer babies for gay dudes? Because that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to engineer a future where kids are designed in labs. Okay, they're trying to play God, gay gods, gay lords. Okay, and now they want to program the child too. They've already raised $30 million for this. They're hunting for a country that will let them legally edit embryos. This is insane because that program is banned in the US, the UK, and most countries on earth. Okay. So Sam Altman is trying to look for a country where they can create synthetic life forms because obviously gay dudes can't create babies themselves. Oh my God, this is really looking like a real satanic agenda here. Maybe this was the whole purpose of these AI programs, to help gay dudes create synthetic designer babies. I don't even want to know what kind of babies they'll create, okay? If it was up to them, we'll have a bunch of little gay Richard Simmonses running around, okay? I don't want that. Their scientists are also talking about finding a couple willing to let them edit an embryo. And Altman's husband proudly says he pushed for this investment. These people just had a baby 8 months ago. And now they're bankrolling a project to design other people's babies. Like, you can just update software or something. Coinbase's billionaire CEO is in on it too, claiming it's easier to fix DNA early. This is just outrageous. I mean, the same time the CRISPR industry is already bragging about rewriting a baby's DNA in Philadelphia, and other tech labs are talking about letting parents preview their kids' intelligence and height before choosing an embryo. We've now crossed from technology helping humanity into the world's richest gay men trying to custom build the next generation. And the same crowd claiming they're eliminating disease are the ones who can't stop fantasizing about designer babies. They really want to wipe out most of the world's population, and it seems like they're trying to create a subspecies of little gay designer LGBT zombies. I don't think they'll be happy until they really accomplish that. This is what they call cleaning up the gene pool, creating something synthetic and demonic. We've seen this movie before, okay? And speaking of the end times, here is something totally normal. So right after the creepy billionaire dinner at the White House, you remember the one with Trump sitting at a table with Bill Gates, Bezos, Zuckerberg, all pretending to fix America with more vaccines and surveillance. Well, look what happens right after. Bill and Melinda Gates have officially passed the depopulation torch. Get this, Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan are the new replacement models. It's basically the Gates Foundation, but with younger faces. They didn't end the depopulation agenda, they just rebranded it. It's like they threw out the old Windows XP depopulation agenda and updated it with the Meta headsets and AI robot depopulation agenda. So cool, right? The Chan Zuckerberg initiative, they say, is about education, social justice, and curing all disease. They now have officially gone full biomedical holocaust mode. Artificial intelligence, gene modeling, disease detection, and biological research at Biohub is their company, which sounds like a place they release zombies from in Resident Evil. They even bought an AI startup just so they can use more compute power to run biological simulations and rewrite human cells in the cloud. Zuckerberg is out here bragging about building virtual cells, mapping genomes with AI, and boosting their computing power tenfold by 2028. Tenfold for research. Yeah, sure. And Priscilla is smiling like she knows all about big pharma AI created vaccines. Like, thank God we got the real medical experts here. They're finally in charge. You know, out with Bill and Melinda Gates, in with Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. They now have officially gone full biomedical holocaust mode. And did anyone forget about this? Zuckerberg spent the last few years running one of the biggest digital crimes against humanity ever. Okay, behind closed doors, he told his own team nobody actually knows the long-term effects of these mRNA shots and DNA, RNA manipulators. Then publicly banned doctors, scientists, and even the vaccine injured for saying the exact same thing. He offered Fauci a direct messaging pipeline, helped push school closures, shut down vaccine injury groups on Facebook, and even censored the software engineer who built Washington's vaccine website after the shot damaged his hearing. Then he went right into election meddling, blocking the Hunter Biden laptop story and dumping $400 million into the election operations that boosted Democrat turnout in blue counties, funding drop boxes, staffing election offices, and giving friendly groups access to voter files. At the same time, Facebook was scanning private messages and reporting Americans to the FBI for questioning the election. How crazy is that? And suddenly he's besties with Trump? When it all came out later, Zuckerberg quietly admitted a bunch of what he censored during COVID turned out to be true. But the censorship machine stayed in place. He hired ex-CIA and ex-FBI to run Facebook's trust and safety program. He turned intel agencies into content moderators. That's why the censorship was so over the top, and he kept the same system running while pretending he had nothing to do with it. Then he launches Meta with even more censorship. It's absolutely wild. The craziest part here is even after seeing the damage firsthand, even after admitting privately that the mRNA stuff was a little iffy and telling people in his immediate circle not to take it, he's now throwing his money into AI-powered biotech. He wants to cure all diseases, him and his wife, using AI-created vaccines, genetic sequencing, and digital disease surveillance through the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub initiative. You know, they shut down the housing projects. Apparently, this was what they were working on initially, diversity programs and political activism. And now they're saying they replaced it with a full-blown biomedical AI empire, a younger, smoother version of the Gates operation. Okay, now you know what that dinner was all about with Trump, Zuckerberg, and Gates. They're passing the torch, okay? Here you go. Here's a depopulation torch. But don't worry, folks. You know, all those side effects from turbo cancers to heart attacks in younger people clearly linked to the rollout of those death shots. Well, here's an expert doc telling you you're all idiots. The vaccines had nothing to do with that. Guess what all these illnesses popping up are actually from? Okay, here's a real expert. I'm tired of all you conspiracy theorists saying these vaccines are dangerous. Here's an expert that's going to shut us all down, okay?
I'm going to go on record about this for COVID as a doctor right now. Since the vast majority of people in this country are under-vaccinated or not vaccinated at all with the bivalent booster that would cover for any COVID we are seeing right now, I'm going to tell you for 100% certainty that the symptoms of COVID we are seeing now are from COVID and not from the vaccination. Thank you.
Oh, well, there you have it, guys. I mean, doesn't her hair color say it all? And look at these eyes. Look at those eyes. I mean, look at that face, people. Good Lord. Would you let that woman inject you with anything? That is the face of a woman that wants you to die. She is angry, bitter at the world. Oh my God. It's not from the vaccination. It's because of the lack of vaccination. Okay. And all the diseases that have suddenly increased are from COVID itself. Thank you. What an annoying, bitter bitch. Who would trust this psycho? Imagine living in a house with that face right there. Oh God. Imagine how she'll tell you to take out the trash. Imagine the tone in her voice. Oh, yeah, there's something about the eyes, huh? It's all in the eyes, Chico. Oh, God, what a psycho. Okay, so Zuckerberg and Chan accelerating the depopulation agenda. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates handing the torch to the younger, more hip, cool billionaires that can easily sell the next level depopulation agenda, because before it was the scientists rushing out experimental mRNA vaccines. Now we got the geniuses, the medical experts, Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan, about to sell you on AI created vaccines. These can be trusted, okay? Because AI is so far ahead of us in terms of intelligence. We can trust AI when it comes to vaccines because they allegedly, they have openly said now that they're shutting down their public projects. This is really interesting. Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan are shutting down the schools for poor families, the housing grants and diversity programs, the political activism, and they're openly saying they've shifted their entire operation into AI biology. They're now fully focused on genetic modeling, disease prediction, virtual cell simulations, and massive data center power dedicated to biological research. And here's what that actually means, okay? They move from controlling information online to controlling information about your body. The same people who censored vaccine injuries, blocked scientists, spied on private messages, flagged Americans to the FBI, and rigged the COVID narrative now want their algorithms involved in genetics, disease detection, and human biology. After everything Zuckerberg did during the pandemic, the fact that he wants even more authority over biological data should concern anyone with a proper functioning brain. Nothing like a biomedical holocaust with a California smile. The Gates Foundation walked so the Zuck and Chan bioslot machine could run. Great compilation right here. Check this out. The difference between Farrakhan and Ben Shapiro on the topic of COVID vaccines when it really mattered.
And we have seen a tremendous amount of vaccine hesitancy, unfortunately, in the Black and Hispanic community.
If they come up with a vaccine, be careful. Yes, sir.
July 4th, 2020. Farrakhan said that.
Don't let them vaccinate you.
Damn.
With their history of treachery through vaccines.
Hey, Black America, only 67% of Black Americans say they definitely will get the vaccine or probably get the vaccine. So the Black community has tremendous vaccine hesitancy.
I wonder why.
Okay, that is a real problem.
They're making money now, plotting to give 7,500,000,000 people a vaccination. Yes, that's right.
That's crazy.
Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates and Melinda. Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Yes, sir. You want to depopulate the earth. Yes, what the hell gives you that right?
The people who should be ripped up and down right now are people like Louis Farrakhan, who's literally going out there and telling his millions of followers that the COVID vaccine is a vial of death. Have you seen any media coverage of this? If a major conservative figure who had met with a bunch of members of Congress were out there literally telling people that the COVID vaccine was a vial of death, you know that would be at the front of every single newspaper, right? conservatives deny vaccine efficacy. And yet here was Louis Farrakhan doing just that. Democratic members of Congress have met with this guy. They continue to meet with this guy. Have you seen a headline about this? Here's Louis Farrakhan, who has many, many followers, talking about how the COVID vaccine is a vial of death.
Some of these so-called vaccines, it's the nanoparticles that men like Dr. Fauci have proprietary knowledge of that allows them to get a patent for their vial of death.
Damn.
I mean, how is that not the headline, right? I mean, seriously, that should be the headline. You want to talk about overcoming COVID? We should be talking about vaccine hesitancy.
What a smug little prick, you know? Guaranteed he was given the call. He knows exactly what those vaccines do. And crazy, Louis Farrakhan was on it years back, about a year before the vaccines were actually rolled out. That's unbelievable. What does that tell you about Ben Zion Man Shapiro? No wonder the ADL has a whole section of Louis Farrakhan just dedicated to him. And that's where I'm going to leave it, folks. If you like what I do here, if you appreciate the effort that goes into this, it was greatly appreciated. You hit those links in the description for ways to support. Everything you see here is done by myself, so it would be greatly appreciated if you guys hit those links in the description for ways to support. One-time donations, greatly appreciated. Subscribe to my Patreon or my Subscribestar monthly, and you will be helping fund this show. No ads here, no big name sponsors. Everything you see here is done by myself. So if you appreciate the effort that goes into this, hit those links in the description